My name is Paul Olmsted. I'm the Assistant District Fish Biologist for the Mid-Coast Fish District located in Newport, Oregon. So the Mid-Coast spans basically to the north from the Salmon River all the way south to Taconich Lake. So as far as winter steelhead goes, that would include the Salmon River all the way to the Siletz Basin is where most of the winter steelhead fishing happens in the mid-coast. I would say the bulk of the pressure and the best fisheries are the Siletz and the Alsea, where we are here today on the Siletz River. Is a very popular, well-known, very productive winter steelhead river. The Alsea as well is very good. To the south you have the Siletz and Lake Creek are good systems with hatchery fish available. The Siletz and the Alsea as well have hatchery fish available. To the north you have Salmon River is a wild retention river. And then south of that you've got the Yaquina system in the Big Elk. There's no hatchery fish there, but you do have a wild retention fishery there. So those are the main ones. There is a good amount of smaller catch and release wild streams within our district, some direct ocean tribs in the south part of our district, as well as some smaller, more remote wilderness type rivers as well that are wild catch and release. But the bulk of the pressure in the mid-coast comes from the Alsea and the Siletz, and then I'd say the Siletz is probably third. The Siletz is a great river for boats. There is some good bank fishing opportunities on the upper river, here at Moonshine Park, and then up into the gorge. But it is bigger water, a little more remote. It requires some hiking. People really enjoy that, but it can be a little more challenging for the novice steelheader. The Alsea is a really popular spot. It can be crowded, gets a lot of pressure, but it is a great spot, for bank anglers. A lot of access, especially on the North Fork near the hatchery, and below that with some of the parks. So a lot of times we steer people up there if you're getting into it. A lot of times novice steelheaders, don't have access to a drift boat, and so when you're getting started, the bank fishing is a good way to get going. So that the North Fork Alsea is what I would recommend for people to go up there. You can learn a lot. You're around a lot of other fishermen. You can see fish caught. You can kind of learn fish behavior and things like that. See what other people are using. So that's a great place to start. And then from there, there's a lot of other options, like I said, as you start looking into boating and maybe hiking around a little bit more. There are a few rivers. There's just several of the smaller rivers in our district that don't have hatchery fish in them, and so several years ago, in an effort to promote fisheries in those rivers, kind of a lot of it was between our other rivers that have hatchery fish. So coming from the north and the north coast, the Nestucca, say down to the Siletz, there's a pretty big gap there where there's not opportunity to catch a hatchery fish, and so we started looking at it and decided to provide some opportunity, in those kind of between river systems and between geographic areas where we could allow people, say in, excuse me, in Lincoln City, to have a local fishery and to be able to take a fish. So we identified a few rivers. The Salmon River is one in our district, and like I said, the Big Elk also has wild retention. They are small runs, but they are sustainable wild runs, and we felt that there was a healthy enough population to handle wild harvests. We have been creeling the Salmon River extensively and shown that our harvest rates are well under 10% of the run, and so we've been following that closely to make sure that they can handle that harvest. And so that was the idea there, to provide some opportunity for anglers where we could without the negative interactions with hatchery fish, and still providing some opportunity in the district. And so the Salmon River and the Big Elk were an opportunity to do that. So say in our larger rivers, the Alsea and Siletz, we have hatchery programs, and those rivers both have healthy wild populations. And in general, we're trying to provide opportunity, provide angling harvests and experience for people to get out and fish these fish, and take a fish home, through the hatchery programs, but also to protect our wild runs. The Oregon coast still has healthy, sustainable populations of wild steelhead, and so we want to keep those for generations to come. And so we're trying to find that balance, of how we can protect our wild runs and keep them for the future, but also have some harvest for the anglers out there too, and so people can take a fish home and have that experience. So we're managing them that way, trying to provide opportunity for anglers, but also keep our wild fish intact. And a lot of people enjoy having the wild fish around. A lot of times some of the bigger trophier fish that we have in our districts are those wild fish. Great fish runs here, great wild runs. This is covering steelhead, but we've got strong runs of wild coho and wild chinook in our district as well. And there's a lot of opportunity here for the bank angler and for the drift boater, and for somebody that maybe wants to hike and get away and do catch and release steelhead. So I think there's a little bit of everything for everybody. And although there is some areas that can be crowded, I think there is a lot of opportunity too for people to get away from the crowds if they want to do that. And so yeah, it's a good district, and we welcome people coming out and fishing and seeing the opportunity that we have here.